Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the poetry and fiction reading for the combined poetry and fiction writing classes at Toi Ora. It's really, really great to see you all here. I'm looking forward to hearing your work. And I've brought a quote here to kick us off. This is by Maya Angelou. She was in the pictures on our flyer and invitation to this party. And as you might know, we studied her in the poetry class on Friday. She recently passed away. She's a famous Black American poet. And she said, "The idea is to write it so that people hear it and it slides through the brain and goes straight to the heart." And that's how I feel about the writing that I hear every week in my writing class. It always goes straight to my heart. So looking forward to hearing some more of that today. We'll start the readings now. Joseph, he's a member of our fiction writing class.
Okay, this is a poem called, well, it doesn't have a name, but it might be called Pixelated Consciousness or something. "I think you're like a robot with faulty wiring," she said. And I felt so inhuman right then, or just did. Though she didn't seem so bothered. Just says whatever she thinks, I guess. Even seemed interested, intrigued. The exotic creature in everyone she met. And anyway, of what do androids dream? Exotic creatures? Pixelated or real? Though now I think she could just about be right. The fuel is expensive and I keep running low. And though blood apparently still flows through these veins and light through these nerves, I don't find the right lines, the paths that lead to a spark, the spark that ignites a feeling. A child would call it magic, a flame. I needed access to those memories. I needed to generate an image from a brain. Oh, sorry. I needed access to those memories. I needed to generate an image from a dream. I can find the right files on my computer, but not in my brain. The chemistry and all the colors of neural sunshine and rain. But the lens is scratched and dusty, and the camera is cheap, or just too old and rusty. Then the eye of the soul, poor in resolution, just scrambles the signal. And it becomes a synthetic haze of random sensation and static, magnified, amplified, until all the details separate and disappear into their essence of a meaningless noise, just a jumble of squares.
It was beautiful. Thank you, Joseph. Okay.
Hello, my name's Gabriel, and I have two poems. I'm going to choose one of them. One of them is called The End, and the other one's called The Magic Spell. And I chose out of those two, The End. I chose The End. It's called The End. What is going to happen to the world? Are we going to blow ourselves up? Is something incredible going to happen? All the people that believe also have loved ones. As a planet, we could make our work time become our existence with communication, and our work could include our own time together as friends and lovers. Perhaps we all have our own personal emotion about reality and the real world, and we may even be led to thinking that way. I believe that we all share the same world as with the rainbow people. Many of my friends also share the belief of God after life mystery, and seem committed to this belief. So really, what should we do to put this logic into practice? And how does God feel about the world and its future? There are so many things that affect us each day, and we all know we have our differences and change in time to accept our own misgivings. So really, it's up to all of us to make God's ways a part of everything and our world. The rainbow people are trying to help and may well up in the same boat. Eventually something obviously will happen, and God will be earth, God, and beyond. The discovery is with everything too, so it's fair for all of us as well. And really, we all should use our honesty and protectiveness to support the love of living. Death has no domain by knowing that Jesus loves the earth and time and, of course, sex and comfort. Perhaps the end will happen one day anyway, and we will all be together with everything forever. I pray also for peace and love to save all of us as with our discovery. If the end has a time of its own, I'm hoping that it will be peaceful and promising for everything. I keep praying that there will be a change in our opinions about happiness and hope, charity and peace. The end is something we all one day will look to and believe as being logical and explainable. Thank you, God, for being there for us, above, beyond and forever. Hello to the joy of home. Thank you.
Heartbeat, tough rain. The secret alone dwells inside this old man. A yellow PVC raincoat, swirling waters. Nobody ever wanted to know anyway. A strange plastic cup and its worm. It is possible to wee behind a tree, according to the police on the way home. Outside, a desolate squat, an ancient wooden old-fashioned green cube covering up. There is always hope in the Beatles, though here things take time. Without wonder, this place can work out. Hanging Heart, back blocks in New Zealand. Auckland too is a forgotten stand of buildings, weird suburbs. There is a hidden secret in there being so many cars on the road, going for the bus instead. There is a place for nobody in this bitter, rain-pocked scrawl of notices and memories. There are many trees, beautiful flowers, a tree of hope, there all of the time. After all, the medications, early games, trips on somebody else never paid for, to wander on the seat of a giant jalopy with lots of other people, different places, longevity, rush hour traffic.
Oh, Anne. Thank you. Anne is from the poetry class.
Jot poem about love. L'amour. Love is tenderness in embraces, caresses, kisses. Love is rude. Politeness becomes unnecessary. Love is rough like the stormy sea. Love is boisterous. It is joy. It is flirtatious. It's music to the ear. Love pricks like thorns when lost and never to return.
This is Liz from our writing class.
An owl's life. I am a female owl. It's a hard life now. The two-legged creatures are here. They hunt us for our feathers and our meat. Four-legged creatures kill our eggs and our chicks. I am getting desperate. I need to find a mate before it is too late. Soon there will be none of us left in this beautiful land of mountains, forests, rivers and plains. I am awake, having been asleep throughout the day. We are nocturnal birds. I hear the beating of wings. I call out, hoping I am right, and that it's a male. I wait, still a bit sleepy. Then I hear it again, closer now. I can't wait any longer. I reply, I'm over here and I'm ready to mate. My talons cling to the solid branch of the beech tree. Suddenly, I realize I might not be very visible. I'd have to move, or my potential mate might fly past. Without noticing me. I walk along the branch, right out into the open. Something flies through the air, aiming straight for me. He's flying at me, I cry. I'm here! Suddenly, I feel pain. A spear hits my chest. My blood spurts out, and I fall to the forest floor. I pass out and lie still, barely breathing. Better make sure, says a voice. Two strong Maori hands reach out and wring my neck. The laughing owl vanishes into extinction. I am the last of my kind.
Andrew, would you like to read now?
It's just got no title yet. I often wonder what would happen if death struck me now, and wish it would, because I see no reason in living each day a vacuous space between lampposts. Let the dead bury their dead. This cycle is already death. Behind me, before me, infinite, until that passing glance with a stranger, eyes of light, a resurrection.
A short story is called Russell Tuff the Cat. Russell Tuff was a huge Maine Coon cat. He liked to walk across the tops of fences. At a little over 1 metre long, he was a sleek, brown-grey angel of fur. His life's dedication was to rule the world by claiming one household at a time. His exclusive and aloof demeanour did not endear him to many people, but then world conquest was not about popularity. He was a loner, the biggest boss cat in the neighbourhood, capable of opening doors by pulling on the handles. He could easily let himself in and open cupboards. He had a dog's bed in the lounge because cat beds were too small for him, and he had his preferred brand of cat food, the one with the little grey Persian on the box front. He wouldn't eat anything else. He had come from a cat breeder's in Helensville when he had been a kitten, and since had grown to his 1 metre adult size. With slanted ears and a touch of grumpiness, Russell Tuff was easily the most formidable cat around. He could even take on dogs, and many a dog had thought twice about bothering Russell Tuff. Today Russell Tuff was looking for mice. He smelt their presence and was tracking them back to their origin. He walked along the base of the fence line and eventually came to a pile of rags. Mice were on his mind as he crouched and lay in wait by the pile of rags. Russell Tuff slowly made himself comfortable and got ready for a long wait. Minutes passed, then an hour, then another hour. Russell Tuff was very patient. Shadows began to stretch across the yard. It was getting late, but still Russell Tuff waited. Then came a familiar voice, calling his name. It was time for dinner and his food. Russell Tuff gave the pile of rags one last look and then got up and headed for the house door. Once inside, he found his bowl of cat food placed by the stove. He ate up all his food and then climbed into his cat bed to sleep. It had been a busy day looking for mice, and though he hadn't caught any, he still needed his rest for another day patrolling and his mission to rule the world. Meow, he said, as he went off to sleep to dream of mice, rulership, and fairy angels.
The next week we did St. Patrick's Day, and my public intoxication was originally written about St. Patrick's Day. There were Irishmen celebrating St. Patrick's Day in New York City, parading along the streets of Manhattan with Scots-Irish ancestors of the police force. Proud of their heritage, many had lineage dating back to the potato famine, or fathers who left to escape British rule. The band played, there were bugles and drums, and they were all in uniform. Onlookers lined the streets, cheering and clapping as the NYPD parade passed. There were cops who were on duty riding on horseback and others directing traffic. Aye, it were a fine day it were, said a man holding a Guinness bottle, commenting on one of the many beers he had during the day. You'll be drinking in heaven for half... Pardon? You'll be drinking in heaven for half an hour before the devil knows you're dead, he proclaimed to his companion. An on-duty officer noticed the two as he patrolled the crowd. Staying out of trouble, are we, Mac? Staying out of trouble, are we, Mac? He inquired. Like an angel in heaven, sir, the first Irishman answered. The police noticed that the two men were very drunk. You know, I could knock you off for public intoxication, he threatened, but it's St. Patrick's Day and I'm feeling generous. I'll give you a warning this time. Thank the good Lord for your generosity, the man said, and the policeman went on his way.
Kate, would you like to read next?
This poem's called Alone. I awaken alone, aching with remembrance that you have left me immersed in grief, coldly abandoned. Time moves slowly, the silence deafens, clarity is lost in shades of grey, my cries fading in the nothingness. Remaining the desperate longing for salvation, helplessly waiting as I drown in the absence of you. Regretful that I compromised so much of myself, leaving behind this bitter taste of wasted sacrifice.
Kate has actually published these poems in a book. Maybe if you...
Self-published them through CreateSpace, and then you can buy it on Amazon.com,
Yeah.
or you can look at it in the local library.
Yeah, so Kate self-published her poems, and this is Colleen. Colleen's in our fiction class.
I was thinking of calling it a ghost story, and I'm going to expand on this one, okay? They say it was excruciating, no frickin' doubt. They said they couldn't imagine a worse way to die. They said it took days, days of agony, the cruelest, most wretched, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, yeah, literally, suffering. And after a certain point, any hope of surviving this torture would be zero, and who would want to continue living after the child had died, for sure, and the pain... after the child had died, for sure, and the pain continued on and on. No, no one surely would want anything but rapid, restful, merciful death. And they were only watching, trying to help, but eventually, resigned to the reality that all hope was lost for the baby and for the poor, poor mother, they tried to give what comfort they could. But just to watch, to hear this ordeal was suffering enough, excruciating. To actually be the woman going through the all too common death of giving birth would be torture one dare not imagine. So vile an experience it was. And after such a death, death most intense in physical body and intensely emotional, the sadness so intense as the death of a tiny innocent baby that for so many months has been as close as one human can possibly be to another, inside her own womb, the closest of relationships, yet they never actually met face to face, mother to baby, baby to its mama. Intensity such as this carves the deepest chasm into the human soul, and such a huge, deep space provides the dimensions the Pontianak needs to exist. Nowhere else would give enough room for her to manifest, for the Pontianak is a spirit of immense power, like the sun, a black hole and a supernova, all compacted into what would appear at a glance for a second in time before the reality hits to be a female human form. Pleasant even? No, not even. Nowhere even close to pleasant. The Pontianak is not. She couldn't be, could she? She who was formed from such a dire and dark experience. It's the ghost of a woman who dies in childbirth.
Thank you, Colleen. It's lovely to see you. Our superstar guest, Trish, who's an experienced reader and a good poet. So,
thanks, Marianne. So I've just got a few poems for you this morning. First one I have is called Post-Traumatic Stress. She waits in the countryside, careful, 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 sleeps with a knife beneath the pillow, blade of safety, security, insurance against the inevitable. The poison of society has left her broken, 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 lies awake in the darkness, counting the reasons, reasons, reasons to live or die, die or live, live or die, making protective lists, sleeping and not, searching for meanings both peculiar and elusive. Nightmares come, flashback, flashback, flashback. There is a knife in the bathroom vanity too. secrets under the bed. Forgetting is impossible. Worry, worry, worry. He is let off on a technicality. No one remembers to tell her. This is the puzzle of telling the story of the body you feel does not belong to you. The mirror that shows the reflection of some sort of ruin that grimaces at your tentative smile. The dust falling on shadows which add up to nonsense that both are and are not you. This is not your sky or your earth. Nothing is familiar. Clothes do not fit nor suit you. Eyes filled with mistrust, taken eyes with new creases around the edges and dark grey circles which suggest you need more sleep. Countless scars crisscross this body, old scars, faded to white, scars which tell stories you try not to remember. Skin puckered, stretch marked, pieces of never healed tenderness. A quiet confusion of catching a glimpse of somebody in a full-length window without realizing it is you. Who are you? But am I my body? Without it, I cannot be. This is the struggle of fighting against all instinct to not tell a story that hurts, but that without telling keeps hurting. Who is the stranger in my bathroom mirror? Who is the alien in the family photograph album? Who are all these selfies of on my Facebook page? And I'll read two more. This one is called Anti-Love Letters. You write to me with snares and deceit, bright, shiny webs of lies, and the scent of the woman who does not exist bleeds from the page like cheap perfume. You tell me you love me, you say that you care, spell out your duplicity in florid prose. Your letters make excellent fire starters. And this is the last one I'll read this morning. It's untitled. The shadows of red wine have left circles on your grandmother's tablecloth. I pause, poised at the gap in the broken fence. We spoke of other planets, of the mysteries of what we do not know. With obscure clarity, you wax lyrical into the depths of yesterday's tomorrow, a future perfect world that never was. This morning, I wanted to wake you, to say goodbye, but I could not. I rip my jeans, wriggling through the barbed wire. I never ask you if the stains washed out.